Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ilorti Asma from Group 10. So today, me and my friends will explain about where does language knowledge come from, the intelligence, behavior, or innate language. So I'm Yuli as the first speaker. So I'm going to explain about this topic. So most of psycholinguistics book will provide the crucial issues about where the language come from. Linguists and psychologists where has different point of view of where the language come from. The children acquiring their first language are still questioning. Do they use intelligence or innate language ideas? If they use intelligence, is it provided since they are born, or the children should get it? Where they find the language knowledge? So I'm going to explain about that. So, some of linguists believe language has no relation with intelligence. Every normal human being can produce and comprehend their own language, whether they are smart or not. They gave an example by give an intelligent animal which has little or no language. More intelligent person doesn't acquire a greater competence than do less intelligent person. Some linguistics assumes that language learning is essential independent of intelligence. Grammar has a peculiar form, his own formulation grammar. It is not a logical form, hence it is not a direct function or rational operating intelligence, but must be a function of innate language knowledge. So, in contrast, psycholinguistics agreed if there is an indirectly process of intelligence while produce and comprehend a language. Language is a common thing, but it will be a complex matter while we try to examine it. So when we observe deeper about language itself, it is governed by a large number of rules and principles, particularly syntax, which determine the order of words in sentences. Is it closely related to how the normal human being produce and comprehend language? Based on its explanation, most linguistics suggest that the ability of human beings to communicate with other people have strict correlation with their intelligence. Down syndrome, one of the research explained that too low a level of intelligence will result in language deficits. The IQ around 50 greatly impaired in lexical and grammatical abilities. Both arguments are still debatable. So maybe that's all the explanation from me. Next, it will be presented by my friends. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Brisa Khailatunisa. I'm from Group 10. And I will continue the material that has been conveyed by my group friends. So, behavior theory explains the language is come from society. Skinner is a linguist who created this theory for some linguists who follow Skinner's theory. Language is come from society. Human beings can communicate because they input from their society. Their society introduce and build their vocabulary up in order to speak. It makes every normal babies will get the different language based on their own regulation. The language system is human's brain is constructed from the socialization and communication with the people. The behavior theory is characterized by a belief in mind, idea, consequence, and the role of consequence in behavior. There are two things which reject intelligent and innate. First, intelligence is derived from experience. This statement is rejecting Locke's radical view: the mind at birth is blank, experience then imprints ideas on it. Second, intelligence or its basis is innate. How something intelligence come from nothing? How about the blank mind? This theory stated language is about reinforcement. By reinforcement from the parents or society around the children. Children learn to give the name of things. So the noun, the meaning of the words that they everyday serve in their memory, and also they observe it from the environment. This theory has weakness because Skinner explained his theory by giving analysis that first language needs an awareness of learning. To understand language, I'll need to predict the specific patterns of condition control the human utterance. This theory existed until Chomsky came to make an antithesis of Skinner's idea. I think enough from me. Next will be delivered by my group friends. So, thank you.
Okay, the next is about innate language ideas. Innateness is about the capability of human language as a gift from God since they were born. The basic ideas, God, triangle, and act, are already in the mind of a bird. To activate these ideas, one uses reason, ratio meaning reason, in conjunction with experience. Innate ideas are of a general nature. Chomsky, as a pioneer of rationalism, believed that human being that was born has the brain as a language acquisition device. So, the language will be acquired naturally. He also stated that the children has natural ability to evolve the language. The natural ability work automatically when the children exposure the language. So, some psychologists disagree about the innateness ideas. They think innateness is not appropriate things to convey how human being can acquire, produce, and comprehend the language. Innateness hypothesis covered three basic points. First, all moral children will acquire their mother language even if introduced by their environment or not isolated. Second is the sentence which heard by children often ungrammatical, incomplete, a bit short. Third, language is only learned by human. In fact, its theory, which created by Chomsky, is explaining about the innateness is not pure come from birth. Innate knowledge refers to the set of innate language ideas that comprises the language faculty as universal grammar. UJ is universal because every human being is born with it. It is a universal because with it many particular language of the world can be acquired. UG is not grammar but contain of essential which any particular grammar can be acquired. Give children an input from English language. UG will construct a grammar of English. The universal grammars is construction closely related with the user of language interaction. Time by time, innateness not only known as a thing which purely nature from birth. Chomsky always develops his idea about innateness interaction which we familiar as a social interaction or in Skinner theory is completing Chomsky's idea. Do not ever think that anything in this world was made up with one atom or one thing. Everything will have connection each other. It was same with the idea of language knowledge. Language knowledge is not absolutely appears by one case. Intelligence, innateness, and behavior are completing each other. They build up the language using perfectly. The linguist has already given an enormous contribution to create where the language comes from. We only need to understand the language can deliver, understand, and comprehend well when the intelligence is good enough. The environment support it and the deep system in our brain work well. Well, that's the presentation of material from our Group 10. Thank you for your nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.